Happy Tuesday, everybody. I cannot believe that we are already over halfway through 2025. And I've realized that I've not done a Q&A in quite some time. So I'd like to open myself up to any health and wellness questions that you might have. And also, please feel free to drop a line and let me know if there are any topics you'd like me to cover in an upcoming reel. Awesome question. So first off, what are peptides? They are naturally occurring little fragments of amino acids that signal our bodies to do very specific things. And the top three peptides that would assist women entering perimenopause would be CJC ipamorelin, which signal our bodies to release human growth hormone without impacting our pituitary gland negatively. Second would be BPC 157, which helps with gut health because having hormonal shifts can negatively impact our gut, and also helps with systemic inflammation. Third would be kisspeptin, which helps regulate your sex hormones and helps with libido. While I believe that everyone should take a very targeted approach when it comes to taking supplements, there are certainly, I would say, 3 to 5 supplements that I think absolutely everyone could benefit from. Number one would be a really good multivitamin. I'm talking one that's third-party tested and has actual physiological doses of each of the nutrients that they contain. Number two, creatine. I know there's a lot of buzz around creatine these days, but it's something that I've taken for over a decade because it has numerous benefits, especially for women. Number three would be magnesium. Magnesium has over 300 enzymatic functions in the body, and almost all of us are deficient in it due to our soil quality really deteriorating over the last 30 years. And to add to that, a really good broad spectrum mineral. I do want to emphasize the fact that not all supplements are created equal. I, for the first time in my almost 20-year career in wellness, have partnered with a supplement brand called Legion because they third-party test everything. They put physiological doses of each nutrient in their supplements. So if you're taking their multivitamin, you got to take 8 capsules because they actually have the proper amounts of each vitamin that your body needs to actually, do anything. So I highly recommend them. Follow my link for a discount. What I would recommend to combat nausea due to chemotherapy and radiation would be these things. I would consume about an ounce of ginger juice a day. I wouldn't consume more than that, and I would dilute it in water. Second would be peppermint oil. You can either rub it in your hands and smell it, or you can put it in some water. Just make sure it's food grade. Third would be having proper electrolytes. Fourth would be chewing your food very well, like about 25 times with each bite, and eat slowly in general. Next, going back to peptides, BPC 157, which stands for body protective compound, is a gastric peptide which helps heal leaky gut. There are also wristbands that hit a particular acupuncture point about 3 inches down from your wrist that is really effective for relieving nausea. I would be remiss if I didn't also add that I think it would be a really good idea for you to take glutathione or a glutathione precursor like NAC to help clear the toxic burden that you've accumulated having to go through chemotherapy. So what works for me and what has historically worked for most of my clients over the last few decades is a Mediterranean keto high protein light diet. I go into it much more on my app, Hot Wellness on iOS, where I have a complete outline and a recipe book that you could follow. But in a nutshell, I consume around 150 grams of protein each day. I only eat when it's light out, unless on a Saturday I'll give myself a little leeway. There's 2 days a week where I really minimize my carbohydrates, and there's 2 days a week where I have around 200 grams of carbohydrate, especially before my cycle. And I avoid processed foods, sugars, and I avoid seed and vegetable oils as much as possible, which is why I don't eat processed foods. One of the reasons why. It's in everything. So to recap that, I start my day with about 30 to 50 grams of protein, good fats. I will consume more protein, about another 30 grams at lunch, along with as many vegetables and low glycemic fruits as I want. I save most of my carbohydrates for dinner because you get a nice release of serotonin when you consume carbs. And for carbs, I have white rice, occasional sourdough, but mostly tubers and carbs from vegetables. Yeah, it's as simple as that. All right, so the answer to this question is a bit more nuanced because what causes inflammation in one person's body, may not have that effect on someone else. So if you really want to get to the nitty gritty, test, don't guess. Get a food sensitivity test and see what foods cause a reaction to your immune system. But some of the most common allergies for people are dairy, eggs, wheat, lectins, which are found in grains and beans. Some people have a problem with nightshades. So if you notice you have stiff joints after eating tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, you might be one of those people. But no cost way to track this is just keep a food journal and see how you feel after eating certain foods. Really pay attention to your body. Now, one category of food I would say universally causes inflammation in anyone's body would be processed foods that are laden with damaged fats. So anything with soybean oil, canola, corn, safflower, sunflower, I would avoid completely if possible.